Welcome to another edition of our 10 and 20 podcast. The way this podcast works, Kate, it's in the title. I'm going to ask you 10 questions. We're going to have 20 minutes. If it's less, it's fine. If it's longer, it's fine. I'll just have to cut some stuff out. So introduce yourself first, like your name, how old are you, how do you know youth services?
So I'm Kate and I'm 15. I've been here at Youth Services for 2 years now, and
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. You've been with our youth voice crew since we opened in this building, which is coming up 2 years, which is cool.
It's crazy to think that it's already 2 years.
Yeah, and you like the program. You'd encourage other people to try it out or whatnot.
100% podcasts. I love podcasts. So
You listen to podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
Favorite podcast at the moment?
The Girls' Bathroom, for sure.
Who is it? What do they talk about?
They're English women who are in their 20s who talk about different scenarios that are sent in by members of the public, which they answer and give advice to.
Yeah, cool. Love that. People should check it out, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. So your topic today, we're going to talk around mental health. Yeah. This is completely opinion-based. You're not a mental health professional or anything like that. So it's really just what a young person is feeling around mental health at the moment. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's do these 10 questions though. Our first question is what misconceptions around mental health do you wish to address? So some things you might not feel that are real around mental health or anything like that.
I believe that a lot of young people being surrounded by a lot of attention with mental health take little signals of, oh, I was feeling sad today. Oh, that made me nervous. I've got anxiety. I've got depression. And just straight away diagnosing it, and it's just not a great habit to do, because there's people who are actually struggling who can take that to offense, and
that's a great answer.
Yeah.
There are people out there are whether it's well-being or anything like that
100%.
can help diagnose that instead of just you doing that yourself, because there are people out there who really do struggle with these kind of things and should have access to that kind of help.
Yeah.
Question 2. So what's your perspective on the stigma surrounding mental health? So some people think it's a really good thing that we talk so much about it. Some people think it's a bad thing. How do you feel? What do you think?
There's a lot of workshops that come to my school a lot for it, and I know a lot of people probably don't feel like it's that big of a deal, because we don't really talk about it enough, but there's also posters and things everywhere. I feel like it's great that people who don't have it are being educated about what it is and how people are feeling, so they know how to comfort people who are affected. But the people who are actually affected, I do believe that they find it uncomfortable. So I think it's probably just the right amount at the moment.
Yeah, they found a pretty good balance at the moment for both sides.
Yeah.
Which is that's super important that, again, as a young person, you're recognizing that, which is awesome. Question 3, how has mental health awareness changed in recent years? So again, you've gone through the transition from primary school to secondary school and all that kind of stuff. And again, just even growing up in general, do you feel like it's talked about more now?
I didn't probably learn much about it until a year ago. I feel like it was very not talked about when I was a kid, probably because I was a kid. But
and again, they want to keep it a little bit separate and all that kind of stuff. And do you think that's a good thing?
I think so, because when I was a kid, I didn't really have room for anything other than kid things. So I did probably have an idea, but I didn't actually.
Yeah, it's not spoken about. It's not understood as much.
Yeah.
And you're in year 9 at the moment?
9, yeah.
And you think that's probably the right time that it should be starting to. You should be starting.
Year 7 probably would be.
So you reckon year 7 is when schools should start really having those conversations around what mental health is and bringing people to talk about that. I love that. I think that's a great age.
Yeah.
To start encouraging people to talk
13.
around. Yeah. To talk around.
Because that's probably when I started.
Yeah.
That's probably when I started being surrounded by people like that, so I probably needed to know more about it
Yeah.
because I definitely see myself probably upsetting and offending people without that talk that I got from the school and from my parents about
Yeah,
it.
without learning a little bit
Yeah.
about it and like knowing where to go. Absolutely. And again, like you're going through just such a massive change. So again, like that
Yeah.
year 7 time probably is again a great opportunity
Yeah.
to talk around mental health. Question 4. This is like for you, like what advice would you give to somebody who's struggling silently? So like, do you know what I mean? Like they're not talking about like
Yeah.
you might not notice it or anything like that, but if you get a friend that's struggling, like you feel like they're struggling, what advice would you give to them?
I don't really have advice, but I know what I would do if I was around them. I'd always just tell them I'm here for them
Yeah.
and that I can listen, and just every day, you know, surround myself around them. Probably the best advice I know is because my mum works in mental health
Yeah.
stuff
Works in
as
the
well.
space, yeah.
So I know what she'd say. She'd say that you should try and get active and try and do things that get you away from the things you're struggling with.
Yeah.
Like for me, for my anxiety, I like to paint and do artistic stuff. So that's my thing.
Yeah, so it's
But
like you'd be telling that
yeah.
person to
I
like
know other people like to do sport as well. So
yeah, everyone's got their own outlet and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
you'd be more like encouraging them to like tap into that to try and
like hobbies, yeah.
yeah, that's perfect. And also like you can always tell them to like go on again, like there's people in schools, whether it's like well-being or whatever.
And always talk to someone.
Yeah, like talking to someone is so important because if you don't talk to somebody, you're just keeping everything trapped
Yeah.
inside, which nobody can help you when you are struggling silently.
and you'll just end up exploding.
Correct, which is what like we want to avoid. Like, and again, it's most of the time it's the people they care about the most that they like lash out at, and it's not fair to anybody. Again, they can talk to wellbeing at school, they can talk to Headspace, they can come down and talk to us, and we can help like navigate those conversations and like link them up with the best people appropriate.
Yeah.
Perfect. Question 5. What coping strategies have you found effective for stress? So like you've already mentioned like you like painting, all that kind of stuff. Like
I like meditating, and I know it's a very controversial.
Go for it. This is opinion based.
it's
Doesn't
very-
matter.
It's very controversial because people just see it as closing your eyes and wasting time, you
Yeah.
know, and just I guess just having a nap in a way. But I see it as you're completely blocking out everything around you, and you don't allow you're thinking stuff, but you don't allow yourself to think. So when you're thinking, you just try and block that away, and it's a good, for me, I like doing it when something's upset me. So
Yeah.
I like doing that.
Meditation's a great one. And again, that's more so people that haven't tried it
Yeah.
that like give it that bad
That
rap.
are against it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like don't knock something until you try it.
it.
Exactly. How long have you been like using meditation for?
Not long, actually. Probably a month and a half now.
Is there like an app or like is there anything that
No.
you just like?
I've taught myself. Yeah.
That's incredible. What a great skill to like have in your like toolkit that like when you know you're feeling stressed you can
Thank you. Yeah.
pull out and like bang, use some meditation. And again, it's fine. It might not work for everybody, but like it definitely works for you.
And also what helps me is like trying to become more independent and not relying on like friends I have. Like as much as I love my friends, and I know that the old me would always just go to school being like, if I have my friends, I'll be okay. But the moment you don't have friends, your mental health probably.
Yeah.
For me, my mental health just went downhill from there because I rely on them so much.
Yeah,
So try and be more independent is my tip.
Perfect. Again, look, friends are so important as well. Like
Yeah,
they do
they
play
are.
such an important role. But again, like knowing that you can control like some of those factors that's an again incredible skill to have. Question 6. What role does like physical activity play in your well-being? Like do you do anything physical? Like do you play sport? Do you feel like if you do
Yeah.
it helps you?
It doesn't actually it does. For me, I like to rollerblade and ride my bike, and that's what gets me away because I'm concentrating on how happy I feel when I'm doing it, and gets me away from everything else. But I feel like I mainly do it for the good feeling that I have afterwards when the dopamine's released.
Yeah.
Physical activity, I wouldn't say it completely helps me with my mental health, but I know it's different with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great answer. Like everyone has their own way of like doing things. Physical, like sport and stuff, works
Like
for some people.
I wouldn't go, I'm having a bad day, better do physical activity.
Yeah. Again, that's totally fine. Like I said, it works for some, doesn't work for others. Question 7. How has social media impacted your mental health? This can be positive. This could be negative. Like
this is a good one for
me. Let's go. How has social media impacted your mental health?
So I think about 5-6 months ago, I downloaded like every social media behind my parents' back. And at the start, it was really exciting and I really loved it. But when I got further in, I realized how toxic it is. Like, I know you hear this a lot, but it really is toxic.
Yeah.
So when my parents found out and I had to delete everything and I got away from my phone because they took it away. Yeah. I was away from my phone for a month. So that's when I saw my mental health go uphill, and just since not having social media, it's good having the occasional scroll on a friend's phone.
Absolutely, yeah.
On a friend's phone, not yours.
But
it really is so much better. So offload.
Offload, like try and stay off if possible, because it can be so toxic. And how, like, did you recognize that, or like did your parents?
I did not recognize it when you were I had social media. No.
Yeah. So it like took somebody else to like be like and pull you out of it.
Yeah.
But still, like, again, being pulled out of it and recognizing it.
I'm glad I have strict parents for that reason.
That's so empowering. That's a really cool message for like coming from a young person, that like there is definitely impact on social media around mental health. Question 8. How do you prioritize your mental health on like every day? Like, again, you've said you meditate, you do that every day. Like, is it sleep that's important? Is it like, what is it?
The sleep is very important because I wake up every day like I should have gone to bed earlier instead of finishing that chapter of my book. I do think about the future a lot and how I'd feel if I did something that I'd regret later. So a lot of the time when something happens that I'm not happy with, I think don't make permanent decisions based off temporary emotions, which I'm living by that quote right now.
That's super empowering, and I completely agree.
So my usual reaction would probably be lashing out, but like just appreciate everything you have. So I try and wake up and live life like it's the last day of my life.
Yeah, so. That's an incredible outlook, and it's a positive way to like kind of look at things, because again, you never know what's coming tomorrow. You never know what's going to be next. Like, you may as well like make the most of everything. Because like you don't know what's coming. That's like that's so inspiring. It's actually really, really cool that you've said something like that. And you should be super proud of like thinking like that. And if you can keep that mindset up, like keep going that way. Question 9. How do you balance school and mental health?
This is hard.
Of course it's hard. Like when it's our second last question, like it's supposed to be a little bit hard.
Yeah.
Because they both go hand in hand. Like sometimes school's stressful, sometimes it's not. Like how do you manage that?
I find myself every day after school just going off and doing my own thing, and then all the schoolwork catches up to me.
Yeah.
And it's a bad habit, but I feel like what I need to start doing is making homework days.
Yeah.
And then mental health days after school. So I'm going to try and do that, but it's hard. At the moment, I haven't figured it out.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like, we're not expecting you to have like the answer, but it's like, it's something that you like definitely should consider. Like, if it's like day on, day off, if it's like hour on, hour off, or like find something that like works for you. And because again, like balancing both is so hard.
I don't struggle with it as much as a lot of other people. So I'm really grateful for that. But
But I like
Yeah.
this. I like the advice of like potentially like day on, day off,
Yeah.
or like try and like block out that time specifically to be like,
And if you ever need mental health days off, then
Yeah.
you should go for it.
that's totally fine. Like it's a thing. Like schools understand all that kind of stuff, and it's super important to like again talk about it, because if you don't and you are struggling silently, like no one can help you. Simple. Let's finish with a random question.
Okay.
You don't know what this question is. I don't know if you're ready for it, but I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Last question. Is cereal soup? Oh, I seen you like shrug straight away. There's no right or wrong answer to this question. Like explain
I'd say no, because
why.
most soups actually, I don't know. I was going to say because most soups have like different ingredients and it's
Yeah.
made up of all different things, and cereal is just milk and cereal. So if it's just
That's a tough question. Some people are like, what if you just have it without the milk? Like, but I don't know. What's your answer? What's your like your inside telling you right now?
my inside's telling me no,
It's not soup?
it's not.
Then that's perfect. That's like all I need.
And I'd only have soup for dinner, so I'm not having.
Cool. That's again,
Yeah.
like that's like logic as to like why you think it's a no.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on today
Thank
and
you.
talking around like mental health.
Yeah,
It's so
I've really
important,
enjoyed it.
like, and again, having all this come from a young person in school and like, again, talking about mental health is so important. Get the word out there, encourage friends to talk about it. If they are struggling, come down and talk to us, talk to wellbeing at school, like just talk to somebody, talk to a friend, like anybody, and like that will help you through
Yeah.
whatever you're struggling with.
100%. Thank you for having me.
Done. Thanks, Kate.